You're watching Shu-Tefnut. You're watching the champion of Hotep. So, with that being said, let's talk about spiritual metaphysics. And the reason why I want to touch on that, because if you read the Bible, this is about, in the Bible it says that how Jesus was put on flesh. You know what I mean? He put on flesh, and God dwelt among men. Because according to John 1:14, it says that, and the Word was made flesh, and the Word dwelt among men, dwelt among us. God dwelled among us. So in that way, that God put on flesh. So he came from a heavenly higher realm and saw the simple things of the world. So he wanted to come down and put on, basically to die for the whole world. It's bullshit. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. Now, let's analyze Jesus. If Jesus put on flesh, came down and he dwelt among us, what do you think you and I did? We put on flesh also. That's incarnation. So we, coming from a place wherever we came from, and we put on flesh to have a earthly experience. So we put on flesh, and we dwelt among each other, dwelt among the brothers and sisters, dwelt among the man and woman. We dwelt among each other to have this earthly experience. So, when you die, you, as they say in the Christian Bible, you die, you go straight to heaven. When you die, you put off this body. This body is dead. It goes back to the earth. This body is not the representation of you. For it is, no, the body is a representation. It is not who you are. It's not you. It do not resonate to the real man that lives within you. So if Jesus had the same exact experience, you did too. You and me, we all came down as Christ to put on flesh, to have an experience, an earthly experience. This is why now the Bible is, all the Bible is plagiarized from that which had already been written from ancient times. So if you came down, sister, brother, you came down, you was brought to this world, you put on flesh to dwell among your brothers and your sisters, among the people of the planet, to have this worldly, earthly experience. So that when you die, you go back. That's why there's a whole saying that life is only just a dream. You wake up because you're not really here. You're there. You're home. You just here for one thing. So if it was justifiable for Jesus to do it, you and I, we all came as Christ. We all came to put on flesh. That's all. I don't believe a lot of things that I see and I read about the Bible. But when you read the Bible, it's plagiarized, but you can look at the spiritual perspective, that how Jesus came, that he was incarnated. If Jesus was incarnated, some of us was also incarnated. Some of us was reincarnated. Reincarnation is different from incarnation. When Jesus came down to put on flesh, that's incarnation. When you die and come back to this 3D locked down world, the world you're living in, that's reincarnation. So the spiritual metaphysics is, always remember, Jesus was not the only one who came down to put on flesh to to live among the people. You have to. The reason why you do not know this is because you are disconnected from your spirituality. You're disconnected of who you are, what you are. So when you look in the mirror, ladies, you look in the mirror, you comb your hair, you're saying, man, don't I look beautiful? But if you understand the spiritual perspective, all you're looking at is the shell of the person behind the scene. Your reflection is not you. When you look in the mirror, you're not looking at yourself. You see the shell of the man and woman, of that person that lives within yourself. Your body is just the shell of the man and woman that lives within. Or as I would say, the express image of the higher self, your higher conscience, your higher spirituality, that whom you have not seen. Because when you look in the mirror, when you're looking in the mirror, all you see is body. Your body is ego. Your body thinks it's you. Your body, flesh, thinks it lives. It thinks it is really you, to the point you think it is you. Then what happened? Your conscious thoughts become one will become one with the conscious of the ego mind, which is the body, flesh. That's just why when you read the Bible, it said that the spirit wars with the flesh. Because if your spirit war with the flesh, in other words, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So if your spirit is warm with the flesh, your flesh saying, you, me, we one of the same. The spirit saying, no, we're not. The spirit telling the body, you die, you go back to the earth. I don't die. Spirit, soul does not die. The body dies. Your body dies, not the spirit. This is why when you read the Bible, you got to eat the meat but spit out the bones. You understand? So when it says that, when the Bible said that the spirit wars with the flesh, because your spirit is in constant battle with yourself. The person you see when you look in the mirror, every time you comb your hair, you think you see yourself, but it is not. It is a reflection of the self that is. It's the reflection of the person you have not saw. The reason why you have not seen yourself, because you have not reached to the higher consciousness or your higher spirituality. So when you depart, for example, the Bible says to depart from the body is to be present with God. Let's look at the spiritual metaphysics of that. When you die, your body dies, but your soul, spirit lives. It is separated. You understand? All your body is a vehicle for you to live in. It's like a car. You drive and you're going to work. What happens? You park that car, lock it up, and you go in the house. That car don't run no more, don't it? You are the person in the vehicle. You got to separate yourself from this. You see what I'm saying? You got to separate from this. This is not you. It is a shell of you. It's the express image of you. That's why the Bible said that Jesus was the express image of God. That's why when you read in the Bible, it said that God gave up that body. What body? The body man. Because the man Jesus, because God, the one who was in that body, in that flesh, went back up. And to the point that the scripture said that God gave up the body that it may live. That he gave up the body. He sacrificed that body. There's a lot of... But I'm just giving you things that's in the... Giving you spiritual metaphysics from out the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So, to depart from this body. Listen, hell, heaven and hell is not real. It's not real. That's Western bullshit. Tooth Fairy Jesus not real and Sky Daddy God ain't real. But spirituality, I'm telling you, when you look in the mirror, always remember you're not looking at your true self. It is the reflection of your higher self, that which you have not saw. That's who you are. You have to get into your higher conscious, your higher self, your spirituality. That's why when the Bible said that the spirit wars with the flesh. Oh, you gotta, what they always say, all the way, put the flesh under subjection. That's talking about spiritual metaphysics we talking about here. Or they say you gotta talk to your flesh. Your flesh, this, thinks it's you. It don't want you to know nothing. It wants to live. It thinks it shall not die. As long as you think on the 3D lockdown of this consciousness of this world, when you die, you will come back, reincarnate back into this world with the flesh that's going to war with you again. You're going to come back and reincarnate to another body or same flesh is going to war with you again. You got to separate yourself from flesh. I'm going to tell you something. I had a dream. I seen a man. He was dark. His locks was long like down here. He was a handsome brother. The way his beard was like my beard. He was like resting, sleeping. The sister walks up to him. She grabs his hand. She doing this one. Then she starts rubbing his face. I'm looking at this like, then the older gentleman come along. he asked the sister. And then he was first. The older gentleman come along. He's talking to her, but then he started checking the man that I was looking at, this dark-skinned brother. He checked his eyes. He was checking this. The brother was like there, as though it was as though he was dead, but he wasn't. He was like resting. He was like asleep in a deep slumber. And the sister that was there, she was so much in affection for him. But this sister is whom I saw, who was teaching me. This sister was giving me knowledge. So when I asked her, who is that? And I said, she said nothing to me. She ignored me. Then I talked to the gentleman that was checking the brother that was laying there. This dark, charcoal, dark-skinned brother. He ignored me. He didn't want to talk to me. The only time he says anything reference to me, when he looked at her and said, what all do he know? Do he know who he is? Do you told him about X, Y, and Z? Do you told him what he was? Do you told him where he come from? What he represents? She said yes. She was telling him that them two was communicating. But then he said, don't tell him this yet. Don't tell him that yet. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. You cannot interfere with his life experience. This is what the older gentleman was telling her. Telling the sister that. The sister was dark, beautiful, amazing. So when I looked at her, got a little jealous. I was a little jealous. Because when I first saw her, she was amazing. She was beautiful. And I was like in love with her when I first looked at her. This is all in spiritual vision. This is dream vision. But this seemed like, this felt like, because when I came to, I started touching the floor like this. I wasn't here. No. I was taken somewhere. But when I looked at her and I said, who's that? She ignored me. She didn't say nothing. And I said, damn. He's dark. He sure is one dark bum. He's a nice looking dude, but he sure is dark as hell. When I said that, I guess that rubbed her the wrong way. She turned around she was angry with me. And she turned around, she looked me dead in my face and said, you don't like how you look? You don't like the way you look? I'm like, so the gentleman said, okay, I'm done with him. You can take him back. Talking about me. So when he was referencing, like, what all do he know? In other words, she was not allowed to interfere with my personal life experience here. So what happened was she grabbed. So when I looked at the gentleman, then it hits me. When she brought me back, and I asked her, and I started touching the floor, no, something ain't right. You did something to me. What do? You took me somewhere. You kidnapped me. What do? You took me somewhere. What do? She said, all you need to know is what you heard and what you saw. The little information you got, that's all you need to know. And she left. She disappeared. And she stopped talking to me for a good minute because she did not like the way I was saying. So basically I'm trying to tell y'all that your reflection, your higher self, the man that I saw was me. He was though he was dreaming my life experience. That man was me. He was this look that the body picked on was the express image of the man that was laying there sleeping. So it's like, if I die today or tomorrow, that man wakes up. I'm giving you spiritual metaphysics breakdown. I'm telling you what it's like. You understand? But like I said, the brother was, she simply said, you don't like the way you look. This is not who I am. It's the shell of the man that I saw, which was me. He was resting with his eyes closed. And she was so concerned. And all she said, she's been waiting for a long time. She had to have been someone special to that man. To me, she had to have been something special to me. I don't know whether she was a wife. No, I won't lie. No, she made it abundantly clear who she was. Like a wife, she grabbed his hand. She rubbed his face as though she was of a concerned wife. That's all I can tell you about what my spiritual experience was. But I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you based from this perspective. You all, some of it was incarnated, some of it was reincarnated. You see what I'm saying? And that's all. Always remember, when you look in the mirror, you're not seeing your true self. It is the shell of yourself. Hotep, I say.